Hey everyone, welcome back to Indicted TV. I'm your host, Negra. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Today we have Lboy.
What's good? What's
Lboy,
going on?
introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, where you grew up.
Lboy, aka Gangsta L, CEO of Money Don't Sleep. It's a brand, clothing brand, Frenchie brand, music brand. I brand everything. I'm from Pasadena, California.
Let me ask you, how was your upgrowing like inside of your household, siblings, parents? How was that?
I'm the oldest brother. I got two younger brothers. I have an older sister, but she lives with my grandma. And my parents worked a lot, so it was like I was at my grandma's for half the day. Then at night I go to my house with my mom and dad. So it was kind of like bouncing back and forth. So I spent time at my grandma's and my parents.
Okay, so that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
You're at the babysitters.
Yeah, baby, pretty much.
And then you're off work. At what age did you start to get in trouble, or like what triggered you to, start?
I was always a troublemaker, always. Like since I was young, I don't even remember kindergarten, first, second, third grade.
Okay, you were one of those little ones.
Yeah, most definitely, yes.
At what age did you go? When did you go to juvenile hall for the first time, if you did go?
Oh,
At what for?
At 11 for an assault.
You were 11?
Yeah, me and some kids beat up the neighbor. He decided to, call the cops, and we all got in trouble.
So you went to juvenile hall?
Yeah, East Lake.
How long were you there for? How was that?
Like 30 days for that.
Being so young, how was that experience when you were walking in?
Well, it was. I ain't gonna lie, it was scary. I was the youngest one there. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna sit right here in front and be like, yeah, I went in there. I thought I was big and bad. Nah, like I was young. I was already active in gangs, so I had to get into a couple scuffles, and you just learn how to maneuver in there. How to just since I was small, you got to take flight. You got to handle your business first, and because you're gonna end up getting beat up anyways, because you small, so you might as well just get yours in. So yeah. So
you did your 30 days for the first time in juvenile hall, right?
Yeah, and then I kept like violating probation, so they sent me to Camp Kilpatrick. That's where The Rock did that movie.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called.
It's like the football one, no?
Yeah, it's a football.
Yeah.
It's a sports camp. They got soccer there, football there, everything there, whatnot.
So you play sports ever?
Oh no, I was too big. I was in the box all the time, so I couldn't play sports. I was always in trouble.
Okay, well, since you were in and out a lot of times, to juvenile hall, what is one of the biggest things, or what sticks out the most that you remember from the juvenile hall days?
What sticks out the most? I would say right before I got released on the 4th of July one time. And they do a lot of transfers in the morning, like around 3, 4 a.m. They move the inmates to Silmar, to LP, Los Padrinos. So they wake up certain inmates, and, at that time, that's when your shoes get snagged early in the morning. Like back in those days, you were able to have your own tennis shoes if your parents brought them to you. So, like, I remember, like, on July 3rd, somebody snagged my shoes.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody jacked me for my shoes. So, I was like, fuck that. So, I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to go home in some beat-up ass shoes. So, I knew I was going home. I'm like, I'm going to jack somebody's shoes before I go home. So, they ended up releasing me at nighttime when everybody was already down. So, fuck it. I snagged somebody's Converse and went home in some Converse, went home with a brand new juvenile hall shirt. I remember jumping out, the homies were lighting fireworks. And then but trip out, like fast forward 2 weeks later, I go back to juvenile hall. Forgot what it was for, violation, some shit. So I go back, and then I end up wearing the shoes that I jacked. And the dude that I jacked them from recognized his shoes. So we got into a scuffle right there.
As soon as you walked in?
Yeah, as soon as I walked in, he already knew, like, all right, this fool went home. He probably took my shoes. And then I go back to the halls. I'm wearing his Converse, so I had to, boom, we had to get down. There was some Crip, some young Crip. I don't recall what they call him or where he was from. I think he was from Schoolyard Crip or something like that out there. Yeah, so we got busy and boom, that was that. He didn't get his shoes though. I kept
You kept them.
Shit.
What was the craziest thing that you recall from the camp? Well, camps.
Oh, okay,
I'm sure
okay,
you've been to a
camp.
few.
Well, like I had enemies there. Like I had 2-3 enemies there for the rival neighborhoods. So it's like you can't be no bitch. Like you can't be scared to get down. Like you gotta catch the fade when the enemy goes call you out. So they would constantly get on the nurses list. You know what I'm saying? And they'll be like, get on the nurses list. Boom. So I'll get on the nurses list. I put my name and they'll put their names right next to mine. So we go together. All right. You have to walk to the nurse's office. And when you're in camp, sometimes you walk by some bushes, walk in between classes. There's always a dark area where you could just get busy at. And so we would get on the nurses list and we would get busy. We'd get down like behind some bushes. And it was just a constant thing. That's why I wasn't in sports, because I was always in the box for fighting. And it was like, it got kind of, it was hectic. Yeah.
You said, yeah.
Yeah, it was. My parents would go visit me. I have black eyes. I have busted lip, but I would take it like a champion. Let's keep it moving.
That's all we could. That's all we could do.
Yeah. Cause at some point you get immune to this shit, and then you realize you're building up a reputation.
And that's what keeps
you going. Like you don't give a fuck about the losses. Like at that point you're like, okay, none of my enemies call me out. So that was my mentality after a while. Like, okay, I might get my ass beat because I'm small, but can't none of these fools ever gonna be able to say like, yeah, I ran into your homie, I called him out, he didn't want the fade. I used to walk into class and I'll see an enemy sitting down. I see him sitting down, I'm gonna fire on him. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, I'm gonna have the advantage. There ain't no rules. As long as I get mine, I get mine.
That's all that matters.
And I ended up maxing out. Like I never went. I used to smoke my release date. They used to purposely smoke my release date. Like they find out.
So you did experience your date getting smoked, because for the people that don't know what getting the date smoked means, tell them what that means.
That means you have a date where you're set to go to the judge with a report. Your caseworker will write a report and he'll recommend you go home or not on that date.
Okay.
It's not a guarantee that you're gonna go home, but most likely, they don't want to waste time. They send you to court. In other words, you're going home. Mm-hmm. So every time my court date was set to go to court, fucking, I'll get into a fight or I'll get caught or some shit like that, and boom, my date will get smoked. So now I got 3 more months.
Got it.
So by that time, I had like 3 rivals, and like they would like fluctuate. One would go home, one would come. I'm like, damn, these fools are back to back. I couldn't catch a break. Till one of my homies pulled up, but that was already like, I was 2 weeks to the house. So I was already like, damn, I'm like 20 fights deep.
Dang.
You missed it, bro. You should have. Man,
that was his turn.
Yeah, but he's a healthy dude, so I'm sure he fucked him up. So. It was I would get my date smoked, and then by the time I went to the court, like they were like, man, this is the worst report we've ever gotten, but because I kept getting my date smoked.
Yeah, like you literally just didn't care.
No, it's not that I didn't care. I wanted to go home, but at the same time, like.
No, what I mean by that is like that's probably what they
thought
saw as an adult to this kid. Yeah. He doesn't really care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. So I had to catch the fade in there.
What is the craziest thing you saw? And any, like, even if it was from like a little staff member or what was the craziest, maybe even scariest, whatever, the craziest thing you saw or even heard?
Let me see. 2 rivals escaped. Some fool from Avenues and some fool from Dogtown. And they sprayed the night staff with bleach, stole her keys, and jumped the fence right there behind Unit CD in Eastlake.
I know where that's at.
So, yeah, that's the craziest shit, some shit like that. But fools were always escaping from juvenile hall. There was earthquakes and buildings, separated, and the fools went running out or whatnot. Like, there was always.
So that was pretty scary. I mean, that's scary, but crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Just because that is kind of crazy. Not even kind of. It is crazy.
Yeah,
like,
they assaulted the Asian lady, tied her up, threw her in the laundry room.
Oh, shit.
Like, that was drastic. You know what I'm saying? At that time, you're like, damn. At that time, you're like, fuck. No one's bold enough to think about escaping. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we gotta be from avenues,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you see big ass walls, So it's like, God, it's pretty intimidating. You see barbed wire everywhere. You're like, fuck, I'm gonna get cut up. Like, fuck it. So yeah, they were with it though. Yeah, they were. I think they called him Demon from Avenue.
That's my boy. That's exactly what I was thinking.
He has abs on his face, on his eye.
He's passed away. And you know what's funny? I'm probably gonna get a little emotional. As you were saying the story, I remembered I remember him telling me like, hey, Dick, where you go? We escaped, da 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 da. And it's so funny that you say that because he's my friend. And well, rest in peace, my friend.
That's crazy. He was with it.
Oh no, he was my close friend. And as you were saying it, you said avenues.
So
I was
I ain't bullshitting.
Fucking
so
Esteban.
there it is, it's co-Simon right there.
That's my friend.
Yeah, he was with it. I was in the halls with him. I was in a couple places. He would always get down with his enemies. And he had a lot of enemies. The whole Northeast LA, like he was catching fades. He never turned down no fade. He was with the function. So it's like I chopped it up with him. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna chop it up with him. We can't be no bitches. Nobody. I remember it was Crow from Choppers 12 too. Oh, I think he's the one that escaped with him.
Probably.
Crow, I think it was 3 of them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Crow from. I can't remember that. Like I said, this is like 20 years ago. But I do remember that shit. Like I was right there in the same unit. Like I overheard them talking about it, but I was going home. I'm like, man, I'm going home. You know what? One of them were close to going home too. But they didn't give a fuck. I think they just wanted to have some fun. It was boring.
That was his fun. Because he always knew he was going to go back. But that was, thank you for even, just bringing those memories back to me of my friend,
Yeah.
But, and I'm glad that was the craziest thing you experienced, that you remember that you remembered from your juvenile hall days. And it's like, it brought.
Well, he was from 43rd, right?
No, he's from Drew Street.
Oh, he's from Drew, okay.
Yeah. But
he did have abs
right
on
here.
His forehead, real big.
Yeah, because he was so small.
Yeah, I remember. He had like a chip tooth, big head.
That's pumpkin, big head.
Yeah, that's him right there.
That is so crazy. All right, well, that was the craziest thing. Now let me ask you, when did you go to prison and for what? To actual, you're already an adult. You went to prison. Was it for a new case or you just?
It was for a robbery. Out of Fontana, it was a robbery. I was young. That was the first time I went to prison. Jumped out, beat somebody up. Me and who I was with, we were drunk. So we beat them up. Then we took something. Once we take something, it became a robbery. It didn't just become a regular ass beating. Like that could have been chalked up, whatever. But once you take something, and as a gang member, at this time, I forgot what governor. I think Pete Wilson. He was just slamming. He was just 3-striking everybody. So everybody was catching strikes. Everybody was doing prison time. It was like, they really like. And back then I didn't have no paper to get a lawyer. So I had to drag it out with a public defender. And for strong arm robbery. We got it dropped to a strong arm robbery after months of fighting it. By that time, I had so much credit. I was in San Bernardino County for like almost a year. So I went to the joint real quick, turned around, got out, did some violations for gang association, then caught a case for guns.
What was the longest term what was the longest term that you did and for what?
Oh, 3 years for gun charge. But at that time they gave you half time and whatnot, so it was a little bit over a year.
Okay.
Whatnot, but I went through the whole. I was in Ironwood for a violation, and right before I was going home, I didn't want them to put a hold on me, so I had a gun case pending. So I let them know, like, hey, are you guys gonna fucking file on me? Like, I think it's called a 138. I don't remember the exact.
Like, you don't want to get a hold and they get picked up.
Yeah, I don't want them to pick me up right when I'm getting released. If you guys gonna come get me right now. So they got like 30 days or some shit after you submit.
Yeah, like you did like a little appeal. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And then I shot it to the court. They came back at me like, nah, we're gonna go get you. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then that's when I went from Ironwood to Chino Prison. From Chino Prison, I went to the county. But at that time, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make some money. You know what I'm saying? So I went from Ironwood with tobacco, because you could have, at that time, you could have tobacco. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to take no dope. Like, I'm like, fuck that. Like, I could only get in so much trouble for tobacco.
And you were going to take it to the county?
Yeah, I was going to take it, to the county, and, like, when you compress it, you could fit a lot. Like, you could stash a lot. And back then, you could have little lighters, like the little lighters, the little big lighters. So I had to take that and that, So I was selling the light at a separate price along with the tobacco.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you could buy the tobacco off me, but you're going to have to pay for the light, too, because the fluid running out. You know what I'm saying? Shit. I had to pay for this motherfucking lighter. I was always a hustler. Like, even in prison, like, I was hustling. My baby mama, she was with it. You know what I'm saying? When I say with it, like, she used to take me drugs and they're like.
All right, so you're in prison. You're in Ironwood.
Yeah.
Did you get visits?
Yeah, my baby mama, it's not far. So, the mother of my child, she used to drive like 2 hours to go visit me. She used to carpool with other fools, his girlfriends from the area. So they'd go half on gas, half on the motel room, ride together, switch off, drive. It wasn't far, so I got visits like every week.
And how did those visits go for you? Like,
it went cool. I see my son, like, he was born while I was in there, so she took him in there. Like,
so she was there for you,
Yeah, she was there. Yeah, she was there for me. She, she was working for me while I was in there. She was.
When you say working, what do you mean?
Like, just, she was hustling, whatever she had to do. Like, if she had to be the middleman for certain things, like, she'd do the middleman shit. And if we had access to bring something in, like,
she was down.
She was down for that. Like,
okay.
She knew I was a big weed smoker, so she made sure I had my weed in there, and like, that's all I wanted to deal with in prison was weed. Weed's gonna sell. No, I don't want to deal with heroin, meth, because then you got fools that ain't gonna be wanting to pay. You got fools that are just trying to get high because they want to get rid of their sickness. Their people are tired of sending weed heads. They got people that's gonna send them $50 a week. That ain't shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And plus, they're going to be smoking it. And then when it's gone, it's gone. They ain't there dying and fiending. So it was me as a youngster to not being taken advantage by the order cats. It was just easier for me to sell weed. And I would just tell my baby mama, just get that shit right. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if, just grind that shit. I'm going to sell it by the penners any motherfucking ways. So just, and that was my thing in there. So, and it's sold just as much as anything. Because a motherfucker like me that didn't do heroin, didn't do meth, didn't do coke, I'm going to buy weed. I'm going to buy weed. Every time I hit the yard, I'm going to be that motherfucker that wants to buy the sack.
And yeah, I get it.
I'm that guy, and there's like 100 of people like me. So I'm not the only one. So I figured an ounce, 2 ounces, 3 ounces, grind it down, selling penners, like, you're going to make bread.
Yes. How much did you make, if you don't?
I don't know, a lot. Thousands.
I don't know, a lot.
Thousands. And back then it was mail outs. Like, it was going to the post office. It wasn't green dot. There was no green dot back in the day. So you had to wait 10 days to get the money. Like, set up the P.O. box and, the
money orders.
The money orders, and send it to the P.O. box and call, hey, babe, this is 10 days. Is this money there? But like I said, weed heads are weed heads. Like, their family, yeah, I'll pay for your weed. Don't worry, here. As opposed to you getting the $50 paper of heroin every day. Mm-hmm. Your people are going to be like, man, motherfucker, that shit's draining. So weed is different. $50 ball lasts somebody a week if they stretch it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, smoke after dinner in the cell with their celly and eat. And that.
Well, that's good that you were able to have visits and, go... Yeah. See your son, that, he was born there. You didn't get to be out here, being there for your baby's mom. But you got to see him as he was baby, and, he never, not knew who his father was.
Oh, no, I was there for my child. Like, I was there for my son and my daughter. So, yeah.
That's good.
Despite whatever I did, despite how whatever I was doing at the time, I always made time to be a dad. You know, that's one thing for sure.
Did you have a lot of different women visiting?
Oh.
Like, you know how there's like guys that just have like a lot of
Hell no, I
girls
couldn't have that
and-
because I had something good going on. Like
don't wanna
with me
fuck
at
it
that
up.
time, it's like if you're not contributing to the paper stack, and like I didn't need you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, you know, plus like my baby mama wrote me every day, visited me every weekend, so I ain't got time to write another bitch when I gotta keep her with her. How come you didn't reply to that letter? I wrote you 10 letters, you only wrote me 5. And I'm like, damn, mail doesn't go out every day. Just chill. It's gonna go out on this day.
I get it.
So then she'll get all her mail. And so it was like I didn't have time, you know, and yeah. Plus she was doing everything, like, you know.
Yeah,
when
you
you
didn't-
have that one female that's gonna fucking ride for you, like you need to cherish that shit. You know, you need to really, really honor that because I don't know no one that's successful without that partner. Straight up, like I don't know.
That is a fact.
That's a fact.
It doesn't matter where out
It
here.
doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You always have to have that support system. It's like a whole different. It's like a whole different fuel. It's like rocket fuel. You know, like anybody else's support is regular fuel. Like you get that woman, that man to support you. That's rocket fuel.
Yes, I agree.
E85. You.
I
outta here.
agree.
You know, so.
So when you went to prison for the first time, how did you feel walking in? What did it sound like? What did you feel in your heart? You obviously heard stories. Tell me your experience.
It was honestly, it was disappointing. Like you're expecting, you know, this American me, pass me the shank, pass me the kite, all this. You're expecting all this movie shit that you see. It's not that. Honestly, the best way I could describe prison is like a college campus where motherfuckers just running around doing shit and gotta go back when the fucking bell rings. And shit happens, you know, but that's the best way I could describe it. But it was just like it was kind of like, yeah, it was disappointing. Then I would see Northerners, like I've never seen a Northerner ever in my life. So like you could distinguish them apart. Like the homies were bald-headed. You know what I'm saying? And the Northerners had fades, they had Mongols. But from my understanding, like they had
Mongols is the
the tail.
Okay.
But from my understanding, they had that to differentiate themselves in battle, like so they could be able to tell, okay, that's one of us. That's from mine. I don't know how true that is, but I mean that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't want to be bald-headed and confused with a bunch of Southsiders. So they would have fades, and it was crazy because then it's like you see how they interact with brothers, and then you know a lot of them act like brothers. So it's like you trip out on that, like okay, you got homies in Southern California that say the N-word or whatever, and stuff like that, but they really really act like it. So I tripped out on that. Like I was just like, but they don't get it wrong. Like they with it, just because they're from another part of California.
Yeah.
Like they still. You know, blood of Azteca, so they with the function,
Yeah.
you know, and then, you know, riots with them, they never hesitated.
But before you being like, you know, you say you felt disappointed, but how did you feel literally, like in your heart? Like it's your first time going into prison. You know do you know what I mean? Like, were you scared? Not like a bit, nothing?
No, I wasn't scared. I was more like taking it step by step. Like, okay, this is orientation. Okay, this is Tehachapi. Okay, this is reception. Okay, this is fucking Christmas. And
You're basically just kind of following, taking it one day.
taking a day, and because you know what I'm
asking
saying.
questions like, hey, should I do
I
like
had
this?
a whack ass celly. He was an old ass man, fucking heroin addicts, fucking just couldn't tell me shit. So I couldn't soak up games. So I had to look out my window
See what's happening.
and observe.
Yes.
You know, because they let you out at sections at a time or whatever in reception. So I would watch, like, okay, these guys are standing here, these guys are eating here, this guy's always hanging out with this guy. All right, this, you know, I would just be
You had to learn
aware.
on your own,
Yeah,
basically.
I had to learn on my own till I got like a celly that was able to school me. The homie from Bassett, what they call him? Shit. I think again another demon from Bassett. You know, he schooled me a little bit. You know, he was on his second term, so.
And you were how old?
I was 18. I got tried as an adult for that robbery. So I was in juvenile hall, and then on my 18th birthday, they transferred me to county.
Oh, that's pretty intense. Tell us that experience.
Oh, it was kind of like they knew I was a juvenile because they put you in what they call a space suit. Like it's an all white jumpsuit. It's like real thin. It's real different than all the other jumps. It's like one wear, you can't wear it again. So and then I was going to county, and then people see me in that, and fucking they already knew it was like, oh, this fool just came from juvenile hall.
Ah.
So they were being like kind of like horseplaying, teasing.
For example, like what would they say?
Like, oh, little homie, you fresh meat over here, like.
Oh, shit, like the movie.
Yeah, like a movie, but just playing. Like they trying to scare you. Like, but when they see like you gang related and they see like, what's up? They school you. They tell, okay, cool, homie, what's up? We're just fucking with you. Like, we see you, you know, you just came from the halls, whatever.
So that kind of makes you feel like, okay.
Yeah, kind of. But I would, like I said, like in the halls, I was always fighting. So I was always like, nothing scared me at that point. Like at that point, like, and I ain't gonna lie and say I was like that. It takes numerous gladiator events, fights to get like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're because at first, yeah, I got into this. I'm small, you know, but I started figuring like I gotta take advantage. If I gotta hit this fool with a soap and a sock, you know what I'm saying, and you know, get the shit cracking. Like, okay, he's in my class. I know he just got here yesterday. He's gonna be in my class. I gotta, you know, jump off first.
Back to you're leaving juvenile hall. You're just getting.
Oh yeah, the
No,
county.
wait. The reason I want to bring this back is because I feel like, okay, so you know, you just said like in juvenile hall, you know, you're always fighting. You gotta, you know, it's on site. Da 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 da. When you get into LA County, it's not like that. Did you already know that, or like how did you adjust to that? Like, you know, you just couldn't go off on the homie that was fucking talking, you know, horseplay.
In county, like I just, you know, it was more chill. Like it was like a fresh breath of air. Cause I ain't gonna lie, juvenile hall is more intense than anything. Straight the fuck up. Juvenile hall is more intense than county jail, than state prison. If you could survive in juvenile hall, you could survive any motherfucking where. Cause it's kids. No rules, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna play basketball with you out of nowhere, throw it at your face, and then boom, rush you. It's happened. My enemy was playing basketball with me, threw the basketball at me, hit me in the face. I got blurry, rushed me. You know what I'm saying? And I knew him, I grew up with him, but he already knew, like, all right, this fool's gonna, you know, it's only a matter of time, so.
So you getting to the county was.
Well, getting to the county was like kind of like a fresh breath of air, like. No one's really tripping. Everyone's unity. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was cool. You know,
you just had to adapt.
But
to a
you
different
still,
program.
as a gang member, you're like, I ain't fucking with none of my enemies. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I gotta be cool with them, but that don't mean I gotta be his best friend. Like, fuck that. Like, I ain't giving up my phone time for you. I ain't doing none of that shit. You ain't spreading with me. You know, because I always got taken care of. You know, I've always, anytime I was somewhere, like, I've always been a hustler, so, or like, I had, you know, people take care of me, so I was always doing good. Like, I always spread.
You were spreading with them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but fuck, yeah, I wouldn't even.
What did you put in your spreads?
Honestly, I like my ingredient is pickles. I like pickles.
I like
the
pickles
will set it off. You know, the pickles will set it off. Like a lot of people like putting, like you can't fuck up a spread. Like you really can't. Like I don't know. I don't think you can. Like you know, somebody makes them dry, somebody makes them wet. Some people make.
How did you make your spreads though?
It all depends. Like in state, you got more access to
meats and stuff.
To meats, to boiler, hot pots. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to in jail, you just got access to hot water. You know what I'm saying? It's hot every so often, and you can't cook everything. You know, so it
makes sense.
Yeah, it's just different. You know, but and you know, in state you could bring back your meats from chow. You know, just all kinds of shit.
So on your first term of prison, what was the craziest thing you saw or did?
Oh, okay, I could say did.
Craziest thing you did.
Okay, I got a hold of a cigar. You know, I found it on the floor. I guess one of the fucking sergeants, you know, sergeant's gonna be smoking cigars. I guess the motherfucker threw it on the floor or something. I picked that shit up. Keep in mind, I'm in reception. you know, and it's my first time. I'm like, hell yeah, I got a cigar. I'm gonna sell this shit. So I started selling it, but I was putting bread in I was putting wheat bread in the cigarettes. And I don't know. I'm still a conniving juvenile. Keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming straight from juvenile hall to county to prison. So I'm still in my juvenile hall mode for years. I done been in juvenile for 7 years, from 11 to 18. I'm a fucking be more juvenile hall trained
Than
more,
anything.
Than anything. So fucking I'm over here selling, and then they caught on to that shit. You know, so they came up to my door and they're like, hey, little homie, like, is this your first time here? I'm like, yeah, this is my first time, dog. Like, and keep in mind, I told you, like, I had an old man that didn't tell me shit. Motherfucker was just always sleeping. So fucking, yeah, the homie was like, hey, man, you putting bread in those cigarettes? I'm like, man, I didn't lie, you know, because you can never fix a lie.
No.
You can fix mistakes, you can never fix a lie. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, you know what, dog, I have been. He's like, man, you can't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? Since this is your first time, man, we're going to give you a quebrada, you know what I'm saying? But if you would have sold it to the wrong race or something, it could have possibly popped off.
For the people that don't know what a quebrada is.
It's a break. They give you some slack. You know, like, all right, a freebie. You know, a warning.
A warning.
So I'm like, all right, cool, man, good looking out. Like, boom. Like,
how did you feel after that?
I felt like kind of like, damn, these fools don't like me now.
Oh, no.
You know, so I made it right. I'm like, all right, whoever I sold the flajo to with bread, I'm gonna give you guys a straight one, like, like no bread, like 100% fucking. And you know, keep in mind it's cigar, you know, tobacco, like that shit's harsh as shit. You know what I'm saying? So I had fools get like, man, you trying to kill me? Yeah, so that was on my first term. Now on my second term, like, keep in mind, I'm coming back from Ironwood where I have access to tobacco and lighters. Like, it was right before they put those machines up that light your cigarettes, so you still have lighters. Mm-hmm. So I was going back to the county, but I was gonna go Chino. I was a little pissed off till county picked me up. So the homie's like, man, you should take back something with you, bro. I'm like, hell yeah, fuck it, let's do it. So, you know, I didn't want to take no drugs back, because I was already like, all right, I'm gonna fight this case that I got going on, a gun case that I, you know, keep in mind, I'm about to get released, but I know I got this gun case pending. So I hit him up. I'm like, I rather shoot a kite to the court, like, hey, you guys gonna come get me or not? Mm-hmm. So boom, they come get me. So the process to come get me, I have to go from Ironwood to Chino to county. So the homies like, take something back. I'm like, all right, cool. So I don't know how many pouches, but it was a gang of pouches. You know, it expanded once it opened up. You know what I'm saying? And you know,
of tobacco.
Tobacco. So you have to, you know, there's only one method to transport anything in prison. Like, if you got a ways to go or whatnot, there's only one method, and that's in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah. So I'm over here riding from Ironwood to motherfucking Chino, and I got it in the trunk, right? Keep in mind, I have to take tobacco and a lighter back. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's my first time doing this shit. You know, so it's like, I get to motherfucking county. To make a long story short, you know, they search you. You know, so the CO, he was like, he said, turn around. He knew I brought something back. He was like, man, you know what? You went through a lot to get that over here. So I'm going to let you keep it. He said, whatever you got right there, I'm going to let you keep it. So, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, keep in mind, I'm riding back like 3-4 hours on the fucking bus. The bus is slow as shit. They stop for in and out. They're like, you guys want in and out? I'm like, no. Everyone's like, yeah, we want in and out.
I just want to get back.
Yeah, I just want to get the fuck to a toilet. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get this shit over with.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, fucking, I get to Chino though, and I make a killing, dude. I don't know how. I made thousands. off just pouches of tobacco. Keep in mind, there ain't no tobacco in Chino, and I'm in reception. You know what I'm saying? They would send me to the gym, so I have access to motherfuckers all day long. I'm in the central gym. You know, they got Palm Hall right next to you. They got all these fucking halls right there, and yeah. So I go back, and by the time I get to county jail, I don't got nothing but a lighter. You know what I'm saying?
You're just selling the light.
I'm selling the flame.
The gas.
Like the gas, like shit. You should owe me 3 soups every time I click this shit. You know what I'm saying? And cause they got happy when I got there because they were tired of blowing the fuse on the goddamn socket for the TV. You know, once you do that, the cops know what the fuck you're doing. So it's like, yeah, this who got a lighter. A fucking little big lighter, you can stretch that shit to thousands. How many strikes you think you get off of fucking a lot? That's a lot of soap ops right there.
You definitely didn't starve, that's for sure.
You know, so yeah, so that was the second prison term, like the craziest thing I had to,
Yeah, you had to go through it. It was your first time.
But hey, I was like with it, and I already knew, like, I didn't think I was gonna make that much money. You know what I'm saying, off tobacco. And like I said, I didn't like dealing with hard drugs because it brings different kind of characters. So I'm like, fuck it, the tobacco was going as much as heroin would go, everything. It was going straight up. There was no Bibles in the gym. No Bibles, nobody. I had so much tobacco, everyone ran out of Bible paper. You know,
oh my God.
They were smoking, man, it's like, fuck, once, at one point, a Bible was like a lot. You know, like when people come in, hey, you got a Bible with you? Yeah, you got a Bible. So yeah, like you know, cause fuck, I had so much tobacco, fuck, and I was selling pinners.
Where's in the bread ones?
Oh yeah, where's in the bread ones? I learned my lesson though from the bread, man. Shout out to the homies that were in Tehachapi reception at that time. I didn't get burpees. I didn't get regulated. I just got spoken to, and I was cool. I didn't think I was doing something. I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna sell them some bread. I looked at it like when you get on the street selling dope, you cut your dope and sell it. So I'm cutting my tobacco.
Oh my goodness, that is a good one. So how long was your first term?
First term was 16 months with half. You know, that didn't turn out to be a lot. Then I did violations after the first term, then I caught my second term. And for my second term, I caught a few violations after that. And I can't, like, a year flat here, 10 months flat here, because they were fucking.
Oh, so it was never like a over 3-year stretch?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, but I was going in and out.
And it felt like fucking 3 years,
Yeah,
huh?
it felt like fuck, dude, because I'll get out for like 30 days and
be back,
and a year flat, and like, god damn, like, you know, so yeah. And like fucking one time I was in Soledad. Yeah, that place was jumping. I remember we set it off with the paisas over a soccer game. Over a goddamn soccer game, because, you know, I had a homie, Evil, from Harbor City. You know, I'm going in to get my mail. I'm like, I got mail, yeah. And this time, my baby mama wasn't with me. Like, I was just riding a bunch of females. Like,
so your second term, you weren't with your baby's mom that was there for you the first time?
Nah.
Ah, so you got out and you weren't with her?
Nah, I wasn't with her.
Dang, fool, that's fucked up.
Nah, man, shit happens. I was young. But anyways, so like I'm like, yeah, I got mail, and I was expecting mail from some chick. She was gonna send me some like bikini shots. I'm like, hell yeah, they coming today. So I'm walking to get my mail, and then I see the homies surrounded by paisas in the day room, like in Soledad Gym. They have like a little day room where you go watch TV, and I think it was the World Cup or some bullshit. But it was our day, so the homie was arguing like, yeah, okay, sports is mandatory, but we're gonna watch football. And the paisas were like, but fucking football. They outnumbered us in there, so they try to do like a little power move. So that was my boy. So he didn't know Spanish. I know Spanish, so I went over there and tried to translate and try to get things right. And then while I'm trying to get things right, I just see one of the paisas fucking grab a trash can and just launch it, boom.
Oh.
So there it goes, a riot over a goddamn soccer game. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to tell the homie, like, let them watch their soccer game. Fuck it, man. This shit's been going on for like a month. It's a tournament. You know, fuck it. Like, it's only you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't do shit to piss them off on purpose. Like, they're raza, but he didn't fuck with the paisa, so he didn't want to break it. He didn't want to give in or whatever. I wanted to watch soccer too, though.
You should have just said that shit.
Yeah, but then, like, fuck, I gotta get everything right, and then the trash can flies, and then that's when, boom, riot, boom, 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 boom. So I go to the hole. So from there, I was already supposed to go home, but I end up smoking my date. Again, you know, this time I'm in prison smoking my date on a parole violation. So then, boom, I'm on Central in Soledad, and there's norteños there, and
Cause that's like up north, huh?
yeah, that's up north. That's in Central California, by Seaside and Monterey and Salinas.
Okay.
So the night before, I had fucking got into like a little mad dogging situation with a northerner. You know what I'm saying? And because my cell flooded, so they let me clean it out. This fool's looking. I'm like, what's up? You keep looking. Like, what's going on? Like, you know, you say it in the most passive aggressively type way. You know, like, in other words, being respectful, but letting them know, like, what the
You're just being super assertive.
Yeah. So then, so the next day, I tell the homie Sniper from Montclair, I think he passed away, rest in peace. He's a big dude. He's the biggest outsider, tall-wise, ever seen in my life. So anyways.
He's ever seen in his life.
So anyways, the northerners are walking around, and I was like, yeah, this fool was mad dogging me, but, you know, he broke it down, whatever. And then, like, he's like, who, this buster right here? He calls him a buster. And there's, like, he's with some fools from Sacramento, San Jose. There's a group of them. So, boom, it's only me and him, Listo from West Arriba, Ray from Redlands. It's just a couple of us, because I'm in the northerner building. You know, they have more northerners in my building. It's the only building where they outnumbered us. Every other building was all Southside. They only had one building. We happened to be there. And, you know, they had just let us off lockdown, and there was a piece of metal missing. So I think they anticipated, they're like, all right, these Southsiders got a shank. They're going to move on us. So before they move on us, let's jump on them. Mm-hmm. So I think they anticipated a whole war. So they jumped on me, Ray Sniper, and Listo, and we started getting busy. You know, and they outnumbered us. Because keep in mind, they let that building out first, and that's a northerner building. So they were like, it was like 10 of us, like 50 of them.
Oh.
So they got us, you know what I'm saying? They got us or whatever. And but I ended up beating that. in the most fucking cleanest way ever. So
you didn't smoke your day.
I did smoke my day, but they let me out the instant I beat it at Pro Board.
Ah.
So they're keeping me extra. I can smoke. This is the second day I smoked. This is the second time I smoked my day on a pro violation. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, I only had 3 months to fucking do. Now I'm here going on a fucking year. So whatever. I'm past my release date. I'm in the hole with the homies doing burpees every day. Every day, 113, mandatory workout, penalties, fucking knowledge, reading books. I'm in the hole. You know what I'm saying? So they find me guilty. CDC finds me guilty. So I appeal it. I'm like, fuck that. I need the parole board to come from Sacramento. So this is my tactic. Okay, on the riot sheet, everyone that's in a riot, they place your location and a number. Okay, he was here, this is his number. He was here, this is his number. So they fucked up. My location was never documented it. But CDC didn't want to listen to that, so they're like, fuck you, we're finding you guilty. Mm-hmm. So parole board came from Sacramento, and then so I hammered the sergeant. I fucking felt like I was Johnny Cochran on everything. So I kill him quickly, swiftly.
So you thought you were the coolest motherfucker?
I thought I go in there and kill him quick, like in a hurry. So fucking he's like, I questioned him, you know. He says, oh yeah, he was involved in a riot with Northerners, blah, 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 blah. He sustained damage, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. So I have the same paperwork he has. The parole board has the same paperwork he has. So I just asked him, how long have you been a sergeant for? And he was like, 16 years. He's like, how many riots have you documented? He's like, over 50, you know, to say a low number, you know. I'm like, so you're an expert at this? He's like, yes, I'm an expert at this. And so I tell him, so why isn't my location documented on the grid? Show me my location during this riot. And then he's like, he doesn't know what to say. So he opens up the paperwork and he can't find my location out of 50 inmates. So the parole board sees that shit too. They're like, well, fuck, I mean.
And you know what? It's so sad. Like, I'm sure that it happens to so many men in prison, you know, that are not like, they're kind of, a lot of people might be kind of afraid or intimidated to go on parole board, you know, things like that. But you were smarter than that. Like, you went against it, not afraid.
Yeah, I did my homework. Cause keep in mind, I'm in the hole with a bunch of lifers. You know, they fought fucking prison writers before. They're like, man, everyone gives each other nicknames. Like, my nickname in the hole was G-Rims, because I had a picture of my cars with Dayton's. So they were like, all right, your nickname up here is G-Rims. You know, so we would joke around, you know what I'm saying? So they were like, man, you got action. Like, they were like, man, do this, do that. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I just had to do one move real quick, chest, boom. So the parole board's like, yeah, you know what? You can't say he was in this riot if he's not documented. But he had injuries. Okay, I got those from playing handball. I'm like, fuck, you know?
Yeah.
So the parole board was like, you know, you beat this, you go home tomorrow. I was like, tomorrow? They're like, yeah, tomorrow. You're going home as soon as you wake up. So I go back to the hall, and everyone's like, what happened, G-Rims? What happened? I'm like, man, I beat that shit. They were like, nah, for reals. I'm like, man, early in the morning, I'm going to be out this bitch. So first thing in the morning, boom, they release. You know, I leave Soledad. You know, we go to the Greyhound station. Me, a couple homies, a couple Northerners, and you know they like don't fight when we drop y'all off. And no one fights, man. We trying to get to the fucking house. You know what I'm saying? Fuck.
I was about to ask you, like, how did that go?
No one fights, man. Here, man. Boom. I'm going home.
Yes.
Any other times, active.
Was that your last time?
Man,
I mean, like, was that your last time, like, your last time that you getting out, or did you go back?
You know what? I can't even remember which time it was. It couldn't be, it was a violation. I went on a violation, so it couldn't have been a term. It couldn't have been my last time.
Well, I guess what I meant, like, your last time in prison.
No, it wasn't, because I went to Ironwood after that.
Ah, for a violation.
Yes. And that's
so in total, even if it's a violation, I mean, you're still going to prison. I know it probably in your terms it might not be the same, but me as an outsider looking in, it's like you're still going to prison, even if it was for a violation.
Yeah, and those violations were petty. Like, you could get caught with a homie that you grew up with, boom, violation.
No, I understand.
You could be wearing a certain kind of clothes, and boom, it was just so strict that it just accumulates, like, you know.
I understand.
Dirty test, boom, violation. So
basically, you only really caught 2 big cases. Well,
2 terms.
Yeah.
No, they weren't big cases. They were, you know, they weren't strikeable offenses.
Yeah.
You know, so it was, you know, I ain't gonna sit right here and portray to be this big old gangster and whatnot. I just, you know, got caught with some burners, with some shit, some dope, whatever, and boom.
Yeah, dope. Yeah. Okay, so what was the craziest thing you heard that happened in any of your terms or your violations? Or that you've seen?
Man, shit happens all the time. Like, nothing's even fucking surprising no more. Like, fucking fools get whacked all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Over drugs, over whatever. Like, fuck, you see stabbings. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I said, it was disappointing, and it's not all this hype that it's meant to be. But you do see shit. But people that get it is, you know,
they have it coming.
They have it coming. It's expected. Like, you fucked up. So, like, fuck, like, you know. But yeah, I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, that's fine. What did you see anything weird?
Not really. Like in my time, there's no weird shit. Like there's no, if I'm on a yard where there's no homosexuality, there's no dropouts, there's no, so it's like you don't see weird shit. You see
Cool.
like people get into wrecks, but they have it coming.
Of
like
course.
their drug debt builds up, you know, or something happens, and you see shit like that, but nothing weird. Like,
yeah.
I don't be on no weird yards,
shit.
you know. I don't
Yeah.
be on stay 113, mainline solid.
All right. Have you caught anything recent? Or where are you at? Like, you know what I'm saying? Has anything happened to you?
Well, back in like 2016, I got a possession of narcotics, firearm case, street terrorism, and it was out of San Bernardino, and I was fighting there for like 4 years. I went through like 3 lawyers. Finally, I had to hire Attorney Rosenberg. You know, I suggest you guys tap in with Attorney Rosenberg. He defends a lot of people that's on social media that's really.
Were you fighting this case in the out? So obviously,
Yeah,
you
I
because you had
bailed
lawyers.
out. I was out on bail. And it's crazy because like they misspelled my name when they issued my warrant. When they filed charges, they misspelled my name. So I'm out here, I have a warrant, but under a misspelled name. So every time they pull me over, I'm out here riding around. It comes up that I don't have no, so I'm out here just, you know, bobbing and weaving, yeah. Until one CHP officer, he's all like, man, you guys have the same birthday, same height, same weight. I think this is you. I'm like, nah, man, it's not. I just came back from Cancun, whatever. And like, I just went through Homeland Security. Like, if I had something, it'll fucking pop up. You know, because you can't go through TSA.
Oh, no.
No, they know everything about you in TSA. So anyway, it's like, nah, man, I have a feeling it's you. If it's not, man, I'm going to fucking buy you dinner. I'm going to drop you off at a restaurant. Or I'm going to buy you dinner. But I think it's you. So he takes me, fingerprints me, boom, it comes up that it's me. Now I have to bail out again, you know, because they raised my bail they filed more charges on me, street terrorism. They're trying to say I was involved of a group of gang members that's out here selling drugs, but Attorney Rosenberg countered that because every time I got pulled over, I was by myself. Surveillance they had of me always showed I was by myself. So they were like, how can you guys say he's a gang member when you guys see him by himself? Mm-hmm. Plus, he's 40 miles away from his gang. And that's the way you get out of a gang. Supposedly, you move away or you die or some shit. Mm-hmm. So my client moved away. So how can you guys say? So that's how we beat the street terrorism.
Oh, so you beat it?
Yeah.
After fighting it
for years. I had to fire lawyers, hire lawyers, fire lawyers, hire.
So you spent a lot of money.
Spent a lot of bread and shit. And at that time, I didn't even focus on the music. I'm not tripping on music. I'm focusing more on my clothing brand.
Oh, wait, because you rap.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know.
I do music, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to focus on what brings money in, and that's merchandise. So I was focusing on the merchandise while I was stacking my money. I was fighting cases. And then so I hired Rosenberg, and we just started knocking everything out. Like they allegedly went into my house and found drugs, money, rifles, assault rifles, handguns. So we weren't denying what they found, but we attacked the method of how they went about acquiring that search warrant. Mm-hmm. You have to get a search warrant based on facts. If you went to the fucking judge and lied to acquire a search warrant, you could get that search warrant dismissed. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know that. If your house gets raided, attack the method of how they acquired the information to raid your house. And that's what we did. So they were like, oh yeah, this guy sells guns and drugs out of his house. I don't let nobody know where I live. Nobody goes to my house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's a fucking lie right there. So we were like, okay, if he's selling to an informant, you guys have to have marked bills.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have to have marked bills. You guys have to have footage of people going in and out of his house. And that's what we did. So they were like, oh yeah, this guy sells guns and drugs out of his house. I don't let nobody know where I live. Nobody goes to my house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's a fucking lie right there. So we were like, okay, if he's selling to an informant, you guys have to have marked bills. You know, you guys have to have marked bills. You guys have to have footage of people going in and out of his house. fucking, so that was our method. Rosenberg, you know, he decided to, and then like right before trial, you know, they found a gun in the car that I was in. So they were like, okay, look, we'll drop all the shit that we found in your house, you know, and we'll just plead to the gun in your car. We'll give you 100 days. You lose your license.
Oh, no.
You know, I was like, fuck it, shoot that. And they were like, it's 100 days community service, work release, weekends that I did on the weekdays.
You did it already?
Yeah, I did that shit. I knocked that shit out. So, yeah, like, it was just a case. I was fighting for a long time, and it was just draining. At one
I
point,
could imagine.
lawyers fucking suck ass. They don't want to do no work. They want to get paid more to tell their investigator. So, but yeah, man, shout out to Rosenberg, man. Like, he really, really went out there, went to bat, really attacked him, and it was a young DA. So the young DA, you know, they have like a hair up their ass and want to fuck you over. Mm-hmm. But Rosenberg was like, man, I'm gonna drag this motherfucker out as long as I can, and he's gonna give in to me eventually once he sees what I'm doing. So, you know, and another way, like, they didn't want to produce the informant who was that gave them all this. They were like, oh, we have an informant that bought drugs and guns from his house. They didn't want to reveal him either. And they were like, their excuse was because he's valuable to us in other cases, and we don't want to jeopardize other cases, so we don't want to reveal our informant. So we're like, what the fuck? Like, that ain't fair. That ain't a fair trial. Mm-hmm. So they were like, look, man, we're going to go to trial. You guys ain't not going to want to produce the informant. That's not going to look right. My client said he'll sign for 100 days work release. I did 50 of those on house arrest. You know,
Oh, so you were on house arrest?
Yeah, I was on house arrest for 50 days, but they allowed me a time because I work. I told them, man, I have a brand to push. You know, I got dogs I breed. I do all this shit. Like, I need to be out and about. So they gave me from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to be out and about handling my business. So, yeah, man, I was fighting that case. It was drugs, guns, and I just ended up pleading to the gun in my car. And they threw out everything, all the street terrorism, all
the high stuff.
Yeah, the high. I was like, shoot that shit. 100 days, work release, shit. Come on.
That's good. So you're free now.
Oh yeah, I'm free, man. I'm you know, I got a clothing line. You know, I got a French bulldog business. I got a video game trailer business I'm about to launch.
Good for you.
I'm focused, man. It's about business, man. I ain't into no negativity. I ain't feeding into nothing. Like,
good
I don't
give
a fuck about nothing but my pockets, man. My kids, my pockets, and,
That's right.
my brand.
That's right. Is there anything else you would like to share?
Nah, if you guys want to learn how to brand yourselves, you know, I'll give courses on how to brand yourself, and, you know, the clothing brand. You know, I'll take you to places where you can buy the best material for the cheapest price, and I'll teach you how to set up your websites and all that shit, and I'll get you situated. Hit me up on my DM at my Instagram at moneydon'tsleep_brand, or you could check out my website, www.moneydon'tsleepbrand.com. And yeah, see what I got going on, and I'm always into helping out people get to the bag, and, you know, making sure they look fresh doing it, you know.
Well, thank you again for coming on Indicted, Lboy.
Money don't sleep, yo.
Thank you for watching Indicted TV.